Okay, I think I should be sharing my screen now. Let me know if you can see.
Yes, we can see.
Sorry for the hiccup. Okay, yeah. So I'll be discussing this app I created in for a mobile app. So the personal pain point that I'm solving for this is many time people do understand market, but they do not get a lot of time understand taking steps based on the categories, and they do not have like more visibility on how their stocks basis on the category working. So basically, if you go to Zerodha or Grow, it gives you how your performance for individual stocks, but doesn't really give a sense of how it is performing with respect to industry, how it's performing with respect to when the market, when you entered the stock. And third is in what cycle, the market cycle you are in. And basis on that, it doesn't assist you take the right decision there. So I've been reading about market cycles for like last 6 months, and I thought of creating a tool of myself, which will help me assess my market cycle and then rebase my stocks or holdings. So this tool is stemmed from that need. So I put some name for that. So this is FinPlan. So what it does is today's app help you track your balances, but do not help you decide if you want to rebase the stocks, you want to sell some stock and buy something else, or want to move to a different stock in the same category. Those things are not assisted today in the current apps. So what I've done is I created an app where you can create portfolios. Either it's your own portfolio or you can create fixtures portfolios. The fixtures portfolios will let you add as a CSV, or you can add as a manual adding stocks values with the input cost or wherever when you purchase that. So that cost you can add. So it creates a portfolio of its own. Then it dissects that to different categories of stocks that you have and shows you the breakup based on the category. So you can be more aware of where you stand in terms of diversification into different categories. Okay, so the first thing is you can upload the CSV file that I said. If upload is you do not have the CSV file ready, then this app has a functionality to add it manually. So you go and add different stocks individually and add the prices, add the quantity, so on and so forth. Then after you are done, it will let you analyze the stock and the categories. And also it finds out a lot of different events to identify which market cycle it is. So this is currently still in works. So there are certain tickers or certain events like what government spend going on. For example, if India government is spending more on infrastructure, then infrastructure is a priority category for government of India. Then it's likely to go up because there will be a lot of capital inflow from the government side to infrastructure. So that could be a good lucrative industry to get into if you are in the starting of bull cycle. Let's say you are in the end of bull cycle or in the bear cycle, then you may hold to cash rather than buying any stocks. So I have tried to do deep research on some of the published uh, strategies to identify the cycles. So that is implemented in the cycles clock. The rebalance is something little much simpler. So it goes through the DeepSeek model and finds out the tickers. So that is not foolproof yet because I don't know which data point is picked. It's just a demo purpose. So it still does a API call and AI API call and finds out the recommendation. But the recommendation understanding, I don't have it yet. But yeah, basically it helps you adding, holding, or removing certain stock depending on which market cycle you are in and what is the government push for that categories as well. So yeah, so the end is like how this work. So yeah, this is the app. Now I'll move to the actual demo of the app. Any questions so far?
No, just
We
one
can't.
comment.
Yeah, go
Deserve
on.
does something similar, but obviously, you are a one person and there are many person team, but they do it like by large cap, small cap, mid cap, in saying that in those market cycles, which one should you get out of and, which one you should sort of rebalance to. So quite cool.
This is the app. Just a second. This Zoom permissions are crazy. One second.
Jyoti, you are switching to your mobile screen now?
Yeah.
Yes, we
You
see
see
it.
my. Hmm?
Yes, we can see it. We can see it.
Okay, so this is an expo. So I'll talk about some of the decisions I made while building it. So mobile development for AI is not that proven. There is not a lot of people doing it. So that took a lot of time of me like defining the stack itself. And so it's an experiment for me to create mobile apps because I feel mobile apps are more premium in the sense that it's a little difficult to create. And it also gives you more permissions and more uh, freedom in the phone to do a lot of things. So mobile is one key point I targeted. So I'll go to the app directly. Okay. So this is the phone. This is the app. It's the Expo app.
I see a blank screen.
Okay.
Can everyone see it?
Me too. Yeah, now it's desktop.
We were seeing the screen earlier, the mobile screen.
Yeah.
Then the next page became black.
Yep.
You
Can see now? Yes.
Okay. So this is the screen. So it has authentication on top of that. So I have just removed the authentication for this call itself. So authentication choice, I've made a clear. So basically, when you ask Claude to design something, including authentication, and start developing everything on its own, which is not the right way to do development itself, because there is a lot of SaaS solutions which is already there, which help you accelerate your development time. One of them is Clear, and there are certain other authentication mechanism, which is like plug and play. You just spend 5 minutes and your auth is up. So I have implemented Clerk here to authenticate into this app. If you go inside, it asks you about building your first portfolio. So I'll click on that. Then I'll upload a CSV. So for this, I have created a sample holding. So this picks up every stock and purchase time for that stock and categorize that to different categories. So it is bank, IT services, capital goods, logistics, cement. So I've kept it small, like under 15 categories, so it doesn't create a micro category of its own. Then you can save this portfolio. Let's say. Yeah. Expo.
No. Hold on.
Some developer tool is on.
Yeah, this Expo it's a developer tool actually, but it's on popping up here and there. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so you can save this as a holding. Let me save it right away. Simple. So when you save that, it comes as the output. Yeah, sorry. Any question? Okay. So it comes as a holding. You can go inside, then you can do different kind of check. For example, it's my return versus market's return. Then it gives a different time horizon under which you can see the return. For example, if you want to see the return for 6 months, then this is the return for different industries for the same industry in this time horizon for market. And you can check what is your return for that industry in that time horizon. So in this case, the fixes portfolio, the bank did good, it's like 12%, but my return were 3.9% of the portfolio I've added. So this is one way to see what could have gone good or bad basis on the industry. Then timing analysis, what we discussed is it tells you
Got
when
it.
you
No.
Yeah, go ahead, Jyoti.
yeah, when you got into this particular stock, then it tells you like where you are ahead of the market in terms of the absolute return, or you are on par with the market. So it gives a sense that how we are pairing with the average market. The third thing that I worked on here is, as I said, is strategies. So here, let me run through DeepSeek. So it tells basis on the markers where in the market stage you are. And it also finds out certain tickers, for example, the GDP growth, the RBI cuts, and the infrastructure push. So those, depending on that, it tells you which kind of category you need to keep or sell. So it tells you per stock level what is you want to add, depending on the decisions it has made, depending on the market tickers it has seen, the bull and the market cycle it has seen. So it tells me to keep Grasim, hold SDFC and L&T, and sell Pine Labs and Fractal depending on certain decisions. It's not foolproof as such. I'm still testing it. But yeah, this is the app that I would probably keep on using later on.
Jyoti, I have a question. Based on the sectors you have in your portfolio, does it also recommend the, let's say, best performing stocks in the sector, or the ones you can enter into?
Currently it doesn't, but it will be coming here. For example, in Rebalance, it will start suggesting different companies in the sector. If you do not have exposure to that, it will start suggesting you that as well. That is the plan to do.
Got it. Okay.
So Jyoti, question here. So how many agents have you created to build this app? Is there any particular agent which is doing market research versus certain other action it's taking?
Oh, so there is two parts. One is the core development of the app itself, which is primarily done through Claude and what is the other one? Codex, yes. So I have a pro subscription, do not have a max. So I develop generally slow. I like slow development where you think of a solution. I generally do not give it complete autonomous. For example, it doesn't have access to see the application and modify. I generally tend to do manual testing on my own. And I like to see how it will solve the user problem, which I want to take it slow. For example, try to understand what exact problem it will solve, and then ask it to create those particular feature without breaking the other features. So it has been a slow development itself. So it took me last in parts for about 7 to 10 days. So I think that is the kind of nature that somebody wants to develop on fast pace versus something in slow, let's say in 1 week, where they understand. Because what I felt is if you give it a subconscious mind, you will try to understand there could be some things which is not required at all, and some things which require more focus on. So I like to have that strategy for developing product. Is the question answered, Arka, or I moved in different tangent?
No, it answered. I was alluding to that only, that whether you have any particular agent to conduct the test, right? Or any other particular
It
agent,
does
let's say.
test for logical consistencies. For example,
Okay.
when it calculated the performance, it calculated based on the market performance for 12 months. It didn't calculate on my performance, right? Now, let's say the market has performed well for last 12 months, but I purchased in the last 1 month. Now, that is not what I'm looking at when I see market performance, because my stock was not purchased then. So it's a data consistency problem. Then I asked it to think about a UI which will be solving that problem. I'll show you what it created. So in this case, it created a my return versus market return, which is below the enter timing analysis. So it tells me even though the market has performed well in last 12 months, you have not done because you purchased at some city time and you didn't work. It didn't work out for you. Also, like the whole visualization stuff. For example, if you go to individual industry, you want to see how individual stock in that industry might have worked. For example, here SDFC gave me a negative return, but SBI had a phenomenal return. So even though banks as a whole did somewhat good, the SBI did phenomenally better. So someone can go deeper into what worked there versus what worked in SDFC. Those kind of things. And if you're talking about agent for identifying which stock to buy, then it's a simple one-shot DeepSeek call. But yeah, you're right. It has to be a agentic call with certain guidelines to give a more nuanced response.
We're getting some good questions from the chat. I will read the latest one. Gaurav is asking, how does a news feed into the memory? Are there scheduled tasks, or is there an open news feed?
No,
And I would
it's
also
a
just remind for a quick time check. So we will maybe answer this and then move to the next demo.
Yeah.
That's all.
So it's a one shot. It doesn't check into memory, but that's a good suggestion. We can store in memory to find out where in market cycle we are in. But currently it doesn't. It does a single one shot of our API call.
Awesome. And I love your philosophy of slow coding, Jyoti. It is resonating with me after having like intense sessions with Claude. I have also downgraded to a pro from Max, and I feel myself more relaxed these days. So, yes, awesome. I think we have Jatin next.